Okay, today we're back with another build, and let's go over some parts. So, we're going to be building in a Lancool Lian Lancool 2. That's a beautiful case, great RGB lighting in it, and plenty of room to put all of our parts in. And it is a joy to build in. And with that, we have the Lian side diffuser LED strip, which is like a must-buy if you're going to buy this case because it plugs right into the case and has a beautiful LCD strip right in the front. So for $12, why would you not, right? Alright, so inside that, we're going to have our MSI Tomahawk Z470 board paired up with our Intel i5-10400. That's a LGA 1200 chipset, 10th gen. Motherboards are very hard to find. I would have liked to have gotten a Wi-Fi board with this, but they're so hard to find now that it's if you see something, you just got to buy it. So it's a shame, but this board will do well. Okay, so we got some HDMI cables. This is a 10-footer because it's going to be in an office situation. So from the floor up to where the monitor is going to be, could be some distance. So I went with 10 feet. That should give us plenty of room. And then we have our battery backup and our iFixit kit to put everything together. So let's go over some more parts. The Trident Z RGB RAM, 16 gigs, 3200 speed. It's going to do very well for this computer. And we're going to cool it with a Cooler Master, RGB Black Edition, Hyper 212. Great cooler and fairly inexpensive at $45. Then to power this beast, we have EVGA 750 BQ. Again, due to the virus and worldwide shortage, very hard to find power supplies. So we were lucky to find this one, and it's semi-modular, so we don't have all the parts, all the cables hanging out the back like a fully modular, a non-modular would be. We got some GP speakers to go along. This is going to be an office setting, like I said. So $24 pair of Logitechs. That should do fine. And for putting on our OS, we're going to run a 250 SSD from Samsung. This is going to be connected to a Windows server and running a chiropractic program, office program, so we don't need a ton of space, but 250 will definitely be plenty. Then we have a nice Microsoft keyboard and mouse. So that's going to be pretty easy. And then we have Windows 10 Pro Edition, because like I said, this will be sitting on a server, so we need connectability to the network. And then we have a 27-inch Dell monitor and 1080p. That'll do fine for checking in patients into the chiropractic center. So that'll look very nice and make the receptionist very happy. And then we have a MainGear Mouse Pad, large. That'll go across the desk. I've done them before at this chiropractic location and they love it, so I got another one. So let's get some of this stuff unpacked and let's get to building. Be right back. Alright, it is the next day, and the board we had yesterday did not work at all. Did not fire up. It had some sort of power issue. And then I noticed when I was packing it back up to take it back to Micro Center, that the chip set, when I took the chip out, that some of the gold prongs on the chip bed were bent, so that's not good. I'm wondering if MSI is having quality control issues in China. But anyway, returned it, and now we have another board, and this board has Wi-Fi. So that's what we wanted in the first place. So we're good to go with there. So I'm going to get this unboxed and get back to where we were with all of our RAM and cooler and chip and SSD installed. I'll be right back. Alright, we have the new board in, we have our power supply in, we have our RGB strip installed and plugged in. There's a top fan I moved off of here, put up front, so we have positive pressure. We have 2 fans coming in, 1 going out. All of our board extras are in, our RAM, our chip, our cooler, and our SSD is living under here. So let's cross fingers and see if we can get this thing to boot. Alright, let me turn the light off here. Okay, here we go. Oops. As usual. Gets me every time. Alright. Now let's see. Alright, so I see one problem. Our light strip is not lit up. That would be this boy right here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out why that's not working. It's a really hard push to get that in there, and then it doesn't seem to want to go. Wow, that's a tight push. Alright, well, I don't want to bend it, so I'll work on that in a little bit. Okay. So looks like we're running at 2.9 gigahertz. That's great. I'm gonna have to up that memory. We have 32 speed in there. Other than that, we're looking pretty good. Alright, let me get this set up the rest of the way, and I'll give you an update in a little bit. Alright, I am back, and I fixed the light issue. It was actually this button. Didn't have the lighting system on at all. So now you can thumb through all the different modes. button up all the wires, get the back plate on, and let's prepare this thing for Windows 10. Be back in a bit. Alright, cable management was pretty easy. We have our CPU, power cord going up in this nice little slot here, and then you just use zip ties to fasten it down. There's nothing really behind this one. I guess if you had a lot of fan wires coming out, then you could bundle them all behind here. But the one fan that is on the back runs right through here to the motherboard, so that's not a big deal. Then on behind this big one, it's all your main power to your motherboard, and your SATA and your front panel connectors. And you just want to run everything through the bottom. There's a nice little gap right here. You can't run it out the side, this is all sealed. So once you get this all zip tied in, it looks really good. And then you're just going to close this and put the glass back on. So let's swing this around and look at the front. So a couple of really nice things about this MSI board is that the front I/O connector, instead of being vertical, it's horizontal here, and that makes it really nice for running the cable, so it doesn't look like this. Here, let me get a light in there so you can see how that how that cable sits up at that angle, and that's a really hard turn to make. So what you have to do is you have to take this piece out, this whole piece, and swing it around so that you have room to bend this cable at that 90 degree to go in the back of the case. But it's nice not having to fight this cable. And then MSI does a nice job with putting your fan connectors right here. So that makes it really easy getting in there and putting your fans, getting your fans connected quickly. Then down here we have our front I/O for power and reset, and our front lighting and our strip lighting here. It's all run off of this. And then over here we have our front audio connector. On the top, up in the corner, we have our fan lighting controls, and then the CPU fan connector back in there to power up your CPU cooler fan. And then up here we have our CPU connector for power to the chip. Another thing really nice about this case versus, like, say, Asus is that the shark fin on top is magnetic, and it sticks in place, and that is pretty cool. I gotta say, I really like that. Asus, learn what MSI is doing. Copy it. So there we go. We are all ready to rock and roll for Windows 10. So let's get this transported into the other room and connected to the network and get Windows 10 rolling. Alright, it is the next day and we are now totally done. We have our Logitech speakers set up. We have a Microsoft 900 keyboard, wireless, and mouse set up and running. I had to run a wire to power the lights on the CPU fan. The board isn't set up, I guess, to run that, so I don't know why I couldn't get it to work, but every time I plugged it into the header, it doesn't get recognized by the MSI software. So whatever, ran it to the power supply and set it on a cool pattern. So looks pretty good, I must say. Let's turn off the light over here and see what it looks like in the dark. Looking good. Alright, you know what the last thing to do is? Peel off the plastic. Alright, I'll deliver this tomorrow and we'll get this thing in production. Thank you all for watching.